Hello everybody, so this is a quick video and I just wanted to demonstrate the proportions or the right proportions that you should have for a cuirass or a breastplate for your own body. I recently moved house and my parents came over with a load of stuff that I used to have, and I have here an old breastplate that I got from India. Now this is the the infamous don't buy stuff from India thing, and I did that not knowing that anything about the right proportions for cuirasses and what they should and shouldn't be. I honestly didn't really know much about medieval armour at all, and this was only about 5 years ago. So I have here an old breastplate, and I'm going to go and put it on and show you the how it doesn't work. Basically, I had all kinds of problems with this breastplate in terms of moving around in it, and I've put on my arming jacket, and I'll put here a belt just to kind of show where my natural waistline is, because that's what it's needed for you to move properly around in your body. I mean, there is a a strip between your pelvis and your rib cage that there is a line there, and then breastplates can vary between that kind of area, just so you can do the normal movement that a human should do. So I have that. I also have my 19th century breastplate, which also is quite old, and I realised that that is okay in shape, but it's too big and therefore poor in proportions. And then I've got my breastplate that I got not long ago. I would say not long ago, I only got it about 3 years ago, and that's better, but still not right in proportions, and that's the best that I have to kind of demonstrate that this is much better. So yeah, I'm going to go and put this on, and I'll be right back. Oh, okay. So now I've put it on, and well, I only just managed to get it on. I put it on myself, and you've got these straps up here, which you kind of have some guesswork in with the mirror. And obviously, as you can tell, this is not very historical at all. The doming is very shallow on this. Not a lot of space in terms of having a proper shaped cuirass that's got nice shaping. The edges here aren't overlapping very well, and you can tell there's size difference between the back plate and the front plate. And the biggest no-no is how long this thing is. It's going way down to literally my belt line. My belt is here, my waist is here, so we're talking about a good 8 inches, maybe 7-8 inches, that it's just too long. And as soon as I do this, it's already digging into my into my lower waist, and I can't actually bend any further than this, which is ridiculous. So if I want to get something from the ground, or even then, it's digging into my legs now. So I remember I did airsoft in this thing, and I dropped a magazine on my gun, and I had to pick it up, and I really struggled to get something off from the ground. And you can imagine doing everyday things in this sort of cuirass. The fact that it's too long and you're not able to actually move properly. I mean, it's got these flary bits here, and honestly, that doesn't help at all. So yes, this cuirass, as I say, it's basically no good. And what I wanted to say is, don't buy this sort of thing. It's gonna just cause you a lot of trouble, even though it seems cheap. So I'm going to put on the 19th century breastplate and explain why that one is proportionally wrong. So yes, laugh at this for now. I'm going to take it off. It's just no good. Okay, now I have my 19th century cuirassier's breastplate on. I now have a kitten climbing up my leg, so do excuse me. So one thing I wanted to talk about here is the fact that it's okay in proportions as the item. So there is doming, and it's nicely shaped. You've got these flares here, these kind of straps that go down that are made of brass. You know, they're pretty much what they were like in the day. Maybe the quality of the steel and brass might be a bit different, and the leather might be a bit crap. However, they're, you know, if you refer to many of the 19th century breastplates that you see maybe as the French cuirassiers, or, you know, anything like that, you know, if you look at Prussian cuirassiers or the British cuirassiers, they all have this sort of similar shape-ish. It's all sort of like this. However, this is too big. As you can see here, it's maybe a little further up from the belt line. It's still a little bit too long for someone like me. I'm 6 foot, and I'm very averagely built. You know, I'm not a big guy. I'm not a small guy. I'm not too sure whether 19th century breastplates were standardized or anything like that. I'm not too sure whether they were made for the person, or they were just, hey, these are a few different sizes, take your pick and see what you want to get. But in terms of the size, I'll show you here. The sizing for the hole for the arm is too big, because it's too large, going from the back plate to the front plate. So it doesn't fit me, because I'm not fat enough. And I'm sure that a cuirassier, yeah, they may have been tall, but they wouldn't have been, all of them, been, you know, fat. They're all active people. You know, these are soldiers. They're meant to be physically fit. And it just rattles, because my waistline isn't. I'm 32. Well, down by my belt line it's 32. I'm sure it's a little less up here, but I would need to put on like 4 stone or something like that to even have this fit me. And the only reason is because a lot of reproductions make everything too big. Even, you know, helmets, stuff for your legs, like greaves, they're just too thick, too massive, because they want to compensate for the thing. Oh, if this guy's too big, or I want to make something bigger, because it will fit everybody, and as a result it fits nobody. So yeah, so this is my 19th century breastplate that I got way back, because I thought, oh, let's get one because I like cuirassiers and stuff like that. And I got it, and you know, it's actually kept in really good shape. It hasn't rusted like this crappy Indian one that I've got here. And it's you know, if I wanted to use this as artwork, all I need to do is lasso tool this and just shrink it down, and then it would be good in proportions. But it's just too bulky, too big, and all it does is rest on my shoulders, because it's not properly shaped to my waist here. You know, if you look at references for a cuirassier, any of them, I'll put up French ones, but they're really well fitted cuirasses, and they, you know, it wouldn't have affected you much at all in terms of movement. So yeah, I'm going to put on my other cuirass. Kitten over here is staring at me, so yes. Hello. I introduce you Apollo, and then I've got Sophia over there. So yeah, we got a new cat when we moved in. So anyway, I'm going to put on my other cuirass, and I'll show you what the proportions are, a little better than what these two ones are. So I'll be right back. Okay, now I am wearing the cuirass that's got better proportions than these two ones here. I got this one from thenightshop.com. It's a very plain cuirass that can probably fit somewhere in the 15th century. It's got no back to it, it's just got straps. However, it has got better proportions because it's not as long. However, it needs cutting away here, because all it takes is a bit of a jab here and my throat's gone. And it's the same situation for the Indian cuirass. When you have such a long shaped cuirass and you bend over, you may have seen that the edge here was actually digging into my throat. It's quite dangerous, actually, and there's a reason why the historical versions of cuirasses were shaped the way they were. Is to avoid all these problems with movement and the danger of when with an impact it's actually going to hit your throat. Obviously any impact is going to be dangerous, but when it comes to shaping, it's very important to have this this waistline here cut off. What you'd have below it are called folds, and you rarely see this in most reproductions, or the cuirass is still too long and they've just put folds underneath it. And then the folds are just this hanging skirt. Folds should actually taper to your waist as well. All they are is just loops of steel that you can easily move around in. I know that there is a Milanese, type that it does hang over a little further. Not all cuirasses are exactly the same. There are regional and time differences, but this is much better. It's got that doming, and I've actually had a couple of impacts here from fetish shirts when I've been doing my sword play. But it's helped, and it's much better than nothing. I don't really do a lot of reenactment. I do artwork, so I just need decent reference. But at the same time, having an Indian cuirass that you can't even hardly put on properly, and then not be able to actually do anything in it is a huge problem. So yeah, it's just wanted to explain that. The belt that I put on is literally directly under here. My natural waistline is just on this ridge here, so I can bend over quite easily, and I'm sure Apollo is not going to appreciate this, but yeah, I can literally do anything I want to do. It's not affected me at all. I've done events all day in this cuirass and it hasn't affected me at all. It's not the best cuirass, it's probably not the most accurate cuirass or breastplate, whatever you want to term it, but it's much better than an Indian export, or even something that's made that's too bulky, even if it is slightly accurate or more accurate than an Indian bought one. I know that I'm slating all the Indian armourers here, but they need to take on board what the human anatomy is. Otherwise people aren't going to buy their produce, because it's either going to be put away and just sat there doing nothing and not even be used because people can't actually wear it, or they're not going to buy it because they know that the proportions have to be a particular type. And it doesn't take much to create you can create a cheap thing and proportion it right, and then it works just for looks, but obviously never use it as a jousting thing, because otherwise you probably lose your life. But you can easily change these proportions. The same with weapons. There are a lot of problems with reproductions with weapons and the way that they create certain. Oh, you're falling. The way that they create certain shapes and sizes and proportions. Matt Easton is very good at pointing this out with all the swords that he looks at. So yes, I'm going to leave it there with the cuirass. I do want to say that I am trying to produce more videos. It's been very hard because I've moved house, and this house is a bit of a mess because you have to decorate it and all the unpacking, and it has to go into new locations and all that kind of stuff. I do have 2 new swords. Oh, actually, I'll go and get them now. So I've got this arming sword here that I got quite some time ago. I got it last year, and I don't think I've even spoken about it, just because I haven't had the time to review it. I do have a review with this sword, and I will be talking about this sword some point in the future. I got it just as lockdown was happening, so I wasn't able to actually use this properly. First thing I wanted to point out is because the handle's too long. Other than that, it's a perfect sword. Yeah, I'll be using this for my sword and buckler stuff when I join up with my new club that's nearby. And then I've got this Kvetchen Armory fetish shirt that I've got an unboxing video for, and it is miles better than my other fetish shirt, so I'll be looking forward to actually using this. I got this in the midst of lockdown. I moved in January, and I got it not shortly after that, so I've had this for a fair few months now, and I'm urging to play with it and use it in my sparring sessions. So yeah, anyway, breastplates, they need to be cut off at the navel.